overall we're just getting ready with our match here. That is gonna be played on basically standard rules. Well, standard rules. A bit different thing is that we actually have balance patch 101, not 2.0 being used here. Partly because of the maps, because they don't really allow for easy free-for-all, even though it could be probably somehow overcome. It's not really all that easy. We would have to probably use the original map. So just to make it simple, we're gonna be using 101, and that is balance patch. If you remember from about, that's already gonna be maybe 2+ years. It's actually a very old one already. That basically has bug fixes and two major things. One of them is starting Ulfsak replaced by scaling that cannot be bolted, and then the other one is actually nerfing shifting sands. Yeah, they are like 50% of strength or whatnot. So these are basically only two balance changes on 101. Otherwise, it's gonna be the good old vanilla game, more or less. So what's up in the chat in here? And otherwise, if you're interested in the brackets, then it's exclamation mark bracket. That's where you can actually find what's going on with the players and whatnot. Alright, so here we go. The gods are gonna be for heavyweights 12, that's gonna be Odin. Then what else are we going to be looking at? Raudus as Loki, Mor champion is gonna be playing Zeus, and Swissboy Ra. Oh well, Ra, really? You're gonna be playing Ra in free-for-all? That's interesting. Interesting indeed. And something that we're also going to be missing are gonna be extra information, of course, for the players, as we are on Bubbly Balance patch 101, as of course the extra commands like exclamation mark T and the extra resources is only available on 2.0. So you're gonna be having a bit of old school casting, but of course you're gonna be looking around. Yeah, just now at Swissboy, who really is going for interesting civilization, but since we are on Highland and he can probably somehow try to wall up, yeah, it could be working. I can imagine it could be working if he can actually defend in the early game, but it could be getting quite a bit difficult because of course, right now we are looking at Mor champion being on his right side, and I'm kinda expecting that he should be really wanting to get rid of his opponent, his strongest opponent, as fast as possible, and basically leave the rest, Raudus and Heavy Raiders 12, Heavy Raids 12, who should be basically like kinda the bottom tier in here in this match, but well, in free-for-all, absolutely anything can happen. They will be probably left for a bit later. So I'm kind of expecting a bit of a gang up on one of the players. That's usually what happens in free-for-all. That players either kind of communicate with each other. Because they can actually chat to each other. You just basically select what player you want to talk to. And you can think up all kinds of extra strategies. And whatnot. We should be seeing all of that chat if it actually happens. But yeah. Definitely curious if some kind of backstabbing is gonna be happening or whatnot, or if this is going to be some kind of fair game where everybody just fights a bit of a 1v1, and then we are gonna be developing into some kind of little finals of this game. So far, Heavy Raids is gonna be coming for a house with a bit of scouting on the right. Apparently, most of the players, yeah, going for the water, for a bit of fishies, as of course this is gonna be quite helpful on Highland for Heavy Raids. Seems to be basically alone in there, but we are already looking at a bit of a potential fight between Raudus and Mor. And this is a weird placement of the dock, definitely weird placement, and since he's against Zeus, I don't really favor him all that much. But well, does actually Mor want to use something like Restoration on a water in here? I don't think so. He might actually want to basically Athena rush into Raudus and basically get him out of the game early, potentially get his resources, get his town centers and whatnot. But as I said at the start, if the Egyptian actually is allowed to do what he wants, ergo being unattacked in the early game, it's kinda curious that he actually doesn't go for the water either in the middle or on the flanks. That's really interesting for the Ra player. But if he's actually left alone, it might be quite problematic for either of the rest of the players to actually deal with him a bit later, as he is definitely gonna be getting quite significantly stronger. Well, we are also looking at Odin being at the top, which basically means that Raudus as the Loki is on the right, which is, I think, bit of a worse situation for Mor. If he was against an Odin, it would have been kinda no-brainer to actually go Athena rush on him, get him out of the game in about, I don't know, 2-3 minutes and be done with it. And then continue with the rest. But how is it right now spawned? It's probably gonna be heading into some kind of interesting gameplay. We are at 3 minutes, so potentially players are gonna be advancing sooner rather than later. As of course, we are all expecting fairly standard build orders in here. You can see 5 villages on wood, 4 on gold so far, bit of wood in there, already being gathered, but he's coming for the Ulfsak in there, which should probably... Is he already going for a temple somewhere? So far not. It's gonna be second dog, and he's actually coming for interestingly slow advance. He's gonna be having very slow economy, and curious if it's actually gonna be working for him, because I don't really know if it's some kind of meta on free-for-all, or actually what is some kind of meta, if there is any. I really haven't cast all that many games of that variety. But you already see that Raudus is gonna be having just 3 fishing spots, but so is gonna be having more. And once you are going for water economy, and you are having just this is actually a pretty significant issue, and he definitely has to hope that he was fast enough to react to that and rebuild the dock on the left side. Because otherwise he might be having quite a slow advance, but he isn't. He's already coming for Athena, so it's really looking like... It's really looking like that he's actually gonna be having Athena rush against Raudus. So poor guy, but at the same time, he's not really scouting a bit to the left. Just now gonna be coming there and thinking. Discovering that Swissboy is gonna be on his left flank, which is probably gonna be meaning that he doesn't need to worry about the attack from him, of course. He's having some kind of relic, which is better ram Helepoly, and oh, that's sad. That's sad for the opponent. Oh man. Better siege towers and even the better scarabs are kinda scary in there. Those scarabs could be actually quite a problem. Yeah, I could definitely imagine they're doing some kind of shenanigans with the scarabs in there. For example, on Mor. And exactly on time, but actually Mor is gonna be Athena rushing on Raudus. Because of course, if Swissboy plays it correctly into fast heroic with Ra on 1 TC, he could be advancing about 7:30 to 8 minutes. That could be quite deadly. That could be quite deadly if he actually basically went for Scarab Rush on Mor at that point, when all the army is somewhere else. That could be fun. That could be so much fun, as we are looking at advancing about 5:30 for Heavyweights, who's gonna be advancing as the last player, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be under any kind of attack. Just any Ulfsaks everywhere, maybe hoping for the second TC apparently. Yeah, they're just gonna be waiting there for a bit longer, as he's having plenty of fishies on the left, so far not really using all of them. There is gonna be just a matter of time. Interestingly enough, nobody's actually coming into the middle. That's kinda unusual a bit. Nobody's even attempting to go there, as of course Mor is gonna be asserting his water dominance on the right flank. And yeah, this probably doesn't make all that much of a sense for Raudus to fight for, and he should be probably giving up on it and hoping for full-on land build order. It seems to be exactly the case, and so far we don't even see any kind of extra attack, or rather extra fast attack from Mor. Mor coming for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing right now. That's kinda curious. He was just going for a bit of a scouting with the Minotaur, and what else is he actually doing? He's having plenty on gold. This is looking like a fast heroic at this point. Fast heroic, and what is he actually gonna do with it? This is kinda weird, having so many villages on gold as a Zeus at this point. I don't exactly understand that. He's coming for second TC. Everybody coming for second TC, so Swissboy is not gonna be dropping some scarabs on anybody. It seems like anytime soon, second TC as we have seen for heavy raids, and so far this game is played so weirdly. So weirdly, I was really expecting that this could be some kind of aggressive matchup, but it's anything but. It's absolutely anything but. Everybody just going for some kind of how to call it, being careful, probably. And is it gonna be a steel TC? No, he's just coming for a bit of Radiant right now, Raidus. Or rather, Raidus. Yeah, that's gonna be my new nick for him, Raidus. It kind of face, because he's the only one Radiant right about now. So Raidus is gonna be denying the TC. That's actually pretty important, because Mor was hoping for a bit of undisturbed boom, which is definitely not happening right about now. And it also means that he might be in a bit of an issue, because if he doesn't... Or rather, actually, if Red was there fast enough, he could have definitely disrupted that. But it's right now not gonna be happening. But curiously enough, you're also looking at a bit of scouting by the Pegasus, who just basically seen all the gold guarded by 2 bears on the middle island. And that's potentially something that they might want to go for, either of the players in here in the game. But also a bit later, because so far you're not really seeing anything all that interesting, just a bit of walling coming up. As of course everybody's probably right now knowing who is right next to them. And they should be also realizing what's going to be the situation for them. In the meantime, of course, Mor is forced into a bit of a defensive that he apparently wasn't expecting all that much. Seems like he's gonna be losing Jason. Or is he? Oh, Nice garrison at the last moment, but the villager is not gonna escape. Yeah, he definitely isn't escaping right now. He's gonna be dying as well, but Raudus shouldn't be fighting at this spot at all. Even though he's killing units and whatnot right now, getting a very nice spawn for him to help him, it's not great, because he's under 3 TC fire, and he just doesn't have enough units to do anything significant to his opponent. What he should be probably at this point doing, might be trying to think about stealing the TC. Looking how everybody is booming, and he isn't, so of course he's gonna be having issues very soon indeed. And looking at all the wall in there, so many Ulfsize coming up from the Odin Heavy Raids 12, he's probably going to be leaving doors open right next to Raudus. And since he's not walling in there, I'm not really certain if it actually means that they have actually talked to each other. And they're not gonna be attacking each other, and they're gonna be basically ganging up on the stronger players, on Swissboy and Mor, and playing it as a bit of a 2v2. It could definitely happen. Yeah, definitely could happen. But so far, we don't really know. So it's still gonna be up to the game to decide what's gonna happen. Yep, we are using Hubble Balance Patch 101, so that we are having a bit different experience, and so that it's easier for us to actually play free-for-all, as the balance patch maps in the 2.0 are actually a bit different because of allowing the extra observers at the end. And yeah, it's a bit tricky to actually play free-for-all on them, and you need to take into account certain things, and it's simply better to be playing it like this. In the meantime, it seems like the first action, or rather second action, is gonna be happening right now by Heavy Raids against the teal player Swissboy, right on his TC. And since he is sec-mad, he could be probably right now casting it exactly here. He probably should. He probably should be casting the Citadel. And he's shifting sending them where? Ah, that's cheap. I was kinda expecting he could actually be transporting them somewhere else, but he doesn't have vision anywhere else. Imagine just basically picking those up and transporting them into Mor's base. He would be that would be some super traitor. Super treason in there. But yeah, of course, right now we have seen the Citadel being cast, so unfortunately this is not really gonna be working all that much, as even some mercenaries are going to be in there as well. And yep. That's also a bit of an issue, that we are on too early version of the Hubble Balance patch, and the trees actually cannot be controlled on 101. They can be controlled only through 1.105, I think, that it was introduced. Either 104 or 105, I'm not entirely certain, if my memory serves me well. But in 101, you definitely cannot control them, but they are gonna be coming along the walls, or rather around the wall, and they might be just targeting those guys as well. Yeah, it seems like they're definitely having some kind of beef against them. But you mustn't forget that what I was talking about a bit earlier, that potentially Raudus and Heavy Raids could be kind of friendlies towards each other in the early game. It doesn't seem to be so all that much. He's right now scouting on the left side, looking at the villages right next to the TC. And of course on the right it's looking also kind of promising for Heavy Raids, killing at least one of the villages. So yeah, we can definitely right now call that they're not really friendly, and they're gonna be trying to kill each other as they can. In the meantime, of course, Red also eyeing this TC, potentially to capture it for himself, which he definitely should, because looking at Mor, who is already at 3 TCs, nicely booming, and probably even getting ready for some kind of advance into Aegis, probably should be. It seems that, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty tough nut to actually crack, and it's almost looking like that it might be Swissboy trying to deal with Heavy Raids, Mor champion with Raudus, and then it's gonna be basically a 1v1 between Swissboy and Mor. So I'm kinda thinking some alliances should be made. So Heavy Raids and Raudus should be really thinking about trying to ally with either of the players, like Mor or Swissboy, and trying to defeat the other side of the map. Because of course it would be I think it would be advantageous for the stronger ones, for Swissboy and Mor, because if they can basically avoid some kind of attacks from raiders, or rather from raids and Raudus. There is right now going to be attack on the TC attempted. Fortunately for Mor, not really successful. But to finish my thought, what was actually my thought? Yeah, that actually if the top players are not really gonna be harassing Mor and Swissboy, and they could basically join in with them against the other strong player, either against Swissboy for Mor or against Mor for Swissboy, it could really be going a long way towards winning the match. So kind of thinking that so far they seem to be taking things a bit too passively as far as diplomacy goes, and in free-for-alls you should be definitely employing that, as that's basically all the games are about. That's all they are about. So restoration being used, as he definitely wants to... Oh no! Oh, Raudus! Raudus, finish it, come on. That's just 300 hit points, really? Oh, well, that was unfortunate, because unfortunately he caught all the Hersirs instead of just those engaged in the battle. He could have already finished the TC. Right now you can see how fast the hoplites are actually taking it down. That's unfortunate display by Raudus in that. It's definitely not gonna be helping him, but of course the spawn of the troll might be. Let's see, is that actually... No, he's not micro anymore. Fortunately not using Odysseus against the troll. Not ideal, but Jason at least is there, and he seems to be right now exactly switching into that, so that means no TC for Raudus, as we are gonna be looking also into, right now, attempt to breach into Heavy Raid's base. Well. Okay, so it seems like that those scarabs are actually gonna be coming into play a bit differently than I was thinking a bit before. As we are already looking at heavy Usarks, as players are advancing into heroic ages. All three of them are actually through right now. And I'm just basically waiting for the flame weapons to be used by Raudus, because the restoration is off. And maybe some kind of chance for him, but unfortunately he doesn't have any kind of army right about now. He has to rebuild, which is not really good news for him at all. Looking how the heroic ages hit for more, and he seems to be having really good economy at this point, and it's just a question of time before, for example, those guys are found. In the meantime, everybody, or rather everybody, a few players have actually developed into the middle. Oh, even a transport ship here. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Apparently Blue is having some kind of idea, as the boar is raiding there for Raudus. And Raudus could definitely be using this unit in his home base. He needs to somehow deny more the extra TC, which is right now not gonna happen. This is definitely not gonna happen. And, well... yeah, this is not gonna be looking great. Extra villages being sent in, so we could be probably expecting some kind of fortress, or especially military buildings quite close by in there, as... oh! Oh, here we go. Okay, so Mor is actually thinking that Raudus is more or less neutralized, and new threat as well, I kinda guess in. And that means that this is time to actually advance on heavy raids, and I don't like this. I don't like this strategy from Mor at all. This doesn't make really sense, because if he kills heavy raids, it's gonna be basically just him against Swissboy, and Swissboy is the biggest threat to him in this game. So, like, if you want to win, there's gonna be only one winner in this match. Why wouldn't you actually attack Swissboy at this point? Because heavy raids is gonna be miles easier to kill than Swissboy when he's actually ready. I just don't understand this logic at all by Mor. Maybe he's just thinking he doesn't care at all. He's just gonna be winning everything. But here you can see even heavy raids is not really any kind of noob. He's having plenty of army ready in there. So he seems he's even going to be saving his TC, and this is looking like basically wasted underworld passage at this point. This should be definitely used by Raudus, which it kinda is, but it's not looking all that promising, because this should be killed underworld passage at this point. And what's Mor right now gonna be doing? He could be getting some extra TCs, of course, of Raudus, so potentially he could be still having some kind of battle against Swissboy, but he kinda needs to hurry up, because as long as Swissboy and heavy raids are still locked in battle, he could be having basically just free choosing of who he's going to be attacking, because Raudus, right at this point, is more or less inert, not gonna be really that important in the game. So, well, you're just gonna be waiting a bit later if there's gonna be attempt to actually repair it. Actually there is, and yet again, must remind everybody that this is 101 balance patch. That means that villages are repairing underworld passage incredibly fast, as basically on the no patch. Even the bears in there coming for the bees. Oh, that has to be super annoying right now for Mor. But yeah, right now sending all the extra army that he can get. Extra villager died, and right now it's gonna be that underworld passage. Yes, it is. So goodbye supremely important god power on a map like this. So that's gonna be resulting in potentially heavy raids having a bit of a chance against Swissboy right now, as he doesn't need to deal with the green player anymore, as green is gonna be right now probably fully concentrating on deleting Raudus, and it seems that he might be really continuing on blue yet again. And I have to repeat, I'm not entirely certain why wouldn't he actually attack Swissboy, because that seems like the easiest way for victory for him. Well, that's his decision. Let's see if it's actually gonna be paying off for him, or if it's gonna be giving Swissboy a good leverage against the green player. So of course we are looking at advancing to Mythical Age from Mor. And heavy raids and Swissboy heavy raids just now getting into Boulder already. And how's it looking with his upgrades, for example? Oh wait, there is some kind of army here. That's actually not half bad. Bronze, copper, copper. That's very good. But we mustn't forget that, of course, all those guys are in the middle fighting. And where is actually the TC? Ah, well, on the left. So that's pretty lucky spawn, because usually, or rather usually often, the TC spawns somewhere in the middle, right next to the choke points in there. But it's not the case here, which is making the situation quite a lot more difficult for the teal player, as he cannot really advance. He cannot really advance all that forward, all that quickly, as he cannot really gain ground, which is how Egyptians actually win games. They just basically gain grounds through the TCs and whatnot. And yes, more chamber. Yes, I'm fairly certain these guys are right now talking, basically in the chat. Only 3 of them, of course, not really talking to Mor. This is not gonna be oh, and I definitely do agree, because Mor is at 4 TCs, and he's gonna be absolutely leveraging, or rather leveling Raudus. They're gonna be absolutely killing him, and they just cannot afford that, because if Mor as a Zeus is gonna be having 6 TCs, well, that's gonna be supremely hard to deal with. Alright. It's gonna be like impossible, because you mustn't forget, yet again, Woolly Plan Switch 101, and that means that Forge of Olympus is full strength, and that's a huge power spike for the Zeus. Huge power spike. Is he already using that? Yeah, he's already getting there. You can see all the upgrades are coming up. He's also having, well, curiously enough, still medium hoplites. Would be expecting a bit more from him, but definitely right now good defense by Raudus. And it seems that, yeah, it seems that Swissboy is actually right now gonna be listening to Heavy Rates and Raudus, and he's gonna be attacking on Mor. Yes. Apparently Mor quite unsatisfied with the development of the situation. But this is exactly what free-for-all is all about. You need to keep an eye on all around the map. You need to know what's happening. And you cannot let you cannot let any player get too much ahead, because otherwise you just won't be able to overpower him. Yeah, Son of Osiris, Champion Chariots. Quite nice upgrades already coming up for Ra. This is actually not bad for a Ra player, or rather for Eggy player overall. And Highland hammer ship in there. Of course, siege boats are gonna be used by Mor, but at the same time it also means this distraction, the distraction is actually full on attack at the bottom, is gonna be quite good help for Raudus, who's gonna be surviving a bit longer, maybe gonna be right now attacked by heavy rates, almost looking like that. You can see all the double walling in there already preparing for himself. Swissboy is losing a TC, gonna be attacking, of course, on the back TC of Mor as well, and that's gonna be resulting into what? Well, so far Mor doesn't have any kind of upgrades as far as line goes. He's having just normal Hippicons. Bellerophon is gonna be helping, of course, against Son of Osiris, which can be one-shotted, I'm thinking, on 101 still. He should be able to one-shot him. Let's see if he remembers. Let's see if he remembers. Because he should be really able to one-shot with Bolt, Son of Osiris. Apparently so far he doesn't know, or rather hasn't realized that. So, of course that's his problem, his own problem, making the game quite a lot harder for him. Otherwise, some upgrades, medium Huskarls for Red. Unfortunately, he couldn't really get there. He was under attack soon by the green players, so kinda makes sense. And Titan already for Mor. Oh well, that's fun. That's fun. He's gonna be built somewhere. Oh well, this is coming for the gold. I was kinda thinking maybe just hide the Titan gate somewhere next to the hill, or on the hill, or whatever. Would be kinda fun, but apparently that's not gonna happen, as medium Hippicons are coming up, with iron getting in there, of course, bronze shields as well. And are we seeing some extras for... Yes, we already are, bronze weapons, so definitely upgrades coming up for Swissboy. Otherwise, the left front has been basically closed. You can see only Mor is annoying there, as of course the TC has been lost in the middle, as apparently heavy rates, yep, since he cannot really fight against Swissboy because of the coordination against Mor, he's gonna be taking out Raudus, so Raudus seems to be kinda heading out of the game. He's gonna be in a bit of a pincers between Mor and heavy rates, so unfortunately these TCs are gonna be more or less divided between the players, so yep, it's not looking great for Raudus, unless he can somehow promise his virgin daughter or whatever to either of the players. He's probably not gonna be surviving for too long. And yep, it seems that Blue is gonna be taking his TCs and taking the battle to Mor's base quite soon, and trying to take off this TC as well. So this is gonna be switching a bit into a bit different gameplay. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of villages switched. Nice idea to basically save his ass in the game, Raudus in here. So just to basically finish the thought that I was having a bit before, it's gonna be switching into a bit different dynamic, because Heavy Raids is gonna be getting stronger with the TCs, which is interesting for Swissboy, because Swissboy needs to somehow time it correctly. He either needs to deal with Mor fast enough, or he already needs to start thinking about attacking Heavy Raids as well, because Heavy Raids is gonna be getting into equal ground with Mor, with the 4 TCs, and it's almost looking like that the Mor and Heavy Raids could be ganging up on Swissboy at that point, and once that actually happens. It really could be happening at that point. So Titan Gate is gonna be coming up. Is there some kind of useful god power? No. Just Heavy Raid still waiting with the Ragnarok. I think this is a very clever idea, not using it. Because if he uses that, then rather at the correct time, it probably will be game-winning condition. It probably will be against anybody if he can actually survive that long. And Swissboy kinda mismanages the situation, because so far he's having basically full-on battle against Mor, and he does have very nice defense in that with all the towers and the Migdol and whatnot. But he really needs to start thinking about what to do against blue. Oh, okay. So actually Raudus, as opposed to what I was thinking, maybe he just sacrificed his daughter to the gods and he's still alive due to that. But he's still very much in the game, as apparently there's gonna be a bit of walling coming up, especially with the plenty wall in there. I mean, like, why? Basically just blocking the path, maybe? Oh, but blocking the path, be careful. Be careful, because I'm not entirely certain if the Titan can actually fit there. I think that he can. He will have to delete the tower. But man, if he actually casts the god power in a way that actually Titan couldn't get out, that would be funny, because he cannot delete Plenty Vault. Actually, at least I think so. Right now, to be honest, I'm not entirely positive, but I think that you actually cannot delete it. Not entirely certain, maybe somebody in the chat will know, because it's a thing you just don't do ever. So it's not something that you would be kind of knowing all that much. But the TC at the bottom is finally gone, with Mor champion having finally some champion hippicons in there, with full iron upgrades. I was looking for all the camel raid. That seems to be heavy. Yes, heavy with some nice upgrades. Nearing on the irons very nicely indeed. And Mor should be probably realizing that he's having very high amount of boats in there. Yeah, finally realizing exactly now. He was probably having some auto queue from a bit before. But anyway, he's gonna be having plenty of population limit right now left. And if he can somehow still survive with the Titan, he could be quite annoying, which seems like that it's gonna be happening. Apparently flaming weapons for Raudus to get rid of the TC, and of course of the fortress as well. Not a bad idea at all, using the opportunity at exactly the correct time. But well, at the same time, it seems like the heroes of Ragnarok, yeah, they're gonna be dealing with him for the second time, and I'm kinda thinking that right now it's gonna be for exactly the same time. That's, I think, what I was trying to say, and it's already full iron, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard for right now for Raudus to somehow survive. He did at least reduce Mor champion into just 3 TCs, so that's actually quite nice help to the other players in the game, of course, not really to Raudus, plus Raudus is gonna be right now losing the TC without any kind of doubt whatsoever. But what is also important to notice is that Swissboy is advancing forward, and once actually he gets this TC, which seems quite likely at this point, to be honest, he is gonna be in a good position to potentially even retake this TC as well, if he can get rid of those pesky juggernauts, which are right now quite annoying to Heavy Raid. So he's actually very nicely played by Swissboy, taking the advantage of those not being governed at all, and just basically shooting randomly at blue. And still is gonna be back at about 4 TCs, another TCs down for Mor. So Mor seems to be heading into the position of being the next one to be out of the game. He's gonna be just annoying with the Titan, as Cerberus is gonna be arriving from the underworld. Let's have a look at that animation. And let's see how he's actually gonna be coming out of here. He cannot probably come through the left. He can probably right now sneak through the right. Yes, he doesn't even need to kill the tower. Okay, so he cast it properly. But of course, he's gonna be dealing with plenty of army from the teal player, already preparing with so many temples and siege works for all the priests and the catapults and maybe even siege towers. As of course, masons are gonna be supremely important at this point, but he also needs to be starting ready on the left side. As of course you can see that heavy raids at 5 TCs already is getting ready for him also. And well, he's gonna be at 6 TCs pretty soon, and even coming for a wonder, but this is Conquest. Sorry Mor, this is Conquest. I would have thought that you might have remembered, but apparently not. Apparently not. But of course, the Titan, what he can do, he can probably reduce TCs here and there. Right now, I don't think that he can realistically expect to actually win this game, so either he should be just now extracting revenge, or exacting revenge, not entirely certain right now on the English, on his opponents, on probably Swissboy, who seems to be the one that he's all that unhappy about. Well, is he gonna win? I don't think so. I don't really think so that Swissboy is gonna win at this point, because heavy raid's at 6 TCs. 6 TCs. Even though he's after Ragnarok, can you imagine how fast you can rebuild the economy with 6 TCs? That's like instant. That's almost instant. So that's no problem for him at all. So I'm right now thinking that this is gonna be a one game for heavy raids. I don't exactly see how Swissboy could be actually dealing with him. What he should be probably right now doing is somehow trying to convince Mor to use the Titan against blue, which is probably not gonna happen because Mor apparently takes it as a bit of a betrayal that he was attacked by the teal player, by Swissboy. And since, of course, Swiss is not really preparing on the left side, he's gonna be under attack just about now. Yes, he's gonna be taking the TC for himself. This is looking very good for actually heavy raids 12. That he's gonna be probably winning this match. Yeah, at this point, I'm having very little doubts that that's exactly what's gonna happen. March, or rather, Raudus still very much alive, not quitting. Still having the dog from the very early game in there. It's nice to see that he's still trying to do whatever he can. But of course, the Titan is gonna be fighting and basically making Swissboy all that much weaker as the Wonder is being built. But yeah, yet again, this is unfortunately for him a conquest. So this is gonna be TC for heavy raids. He's gonna be apparently making a dock so that he can get rid of those 3 boats. Maybe he doesn't even need a dock. He can just basically lure them next to the shoreline. Maybe this one is gonna be a bit tricky. Actually lure there as the armies are moving forward. Definitely not here. That would be just the slaughter of all of those Heroes of Ragnarok. But they are already coming for, of course, the fortified TC at the back. Fortunately, it doesn't have architects yet. Just masons. Not yet. All he's right now doing is basically fighting against the Titan, and he should be probably kind of giving up on that and concentrating a bit more on heavy raids, who is already at 7 TCs. And well, it seems that he really did pick the correct strategy in the game, and he was the mastermind of this one, and he's probably gonna be advancing it through finals at this point. As it doesn't seem like that this could be overcome even by any kind of diplomacy, because even if Swissboy and Mor actually right now stopped fighting, I'm not really thinking they could actually win. Well, potentially TCs could be taken down, but looking how actually well looking heavy raids actually is at 7 TCs right now, killing absolutely everything everywhere. I don't really see how that could be happening. You can see even the huge battle right next to the TC. Even all the mercenaries are right now being out, but they are not really strong enough for all of this. And everybody against this boy. Well, yeah, I could have expected that. That's how it goes. But of course, Swissboy is gonna be at 1 TC quite soon at 0. And he actually loses the Citadel as well. And yeah, the TC is even gonna be taken for heavy raids apparently. He's gonna be at... he has actually lost a TC in there due to... I don't know what. Why is he actually lost the TC? Probably due to still the Juggernauts in there. Not sure, but probably. Don't see any kind of other reason why he would be losing that. But yeah, that's that. And of course, we are looking at the blue army just cleaning, or rather trying to kill everything. Probably Teal is still having plenty of gold for the resources, and he's right now going to be actually tapping out. As Raudus is actually not going to be the last player. Swissboy is gonna be the first one to actually tap out, and it's gonna be turning into a bit of a 1v1, where of course Mor is having like pretty much no chance right now.
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna be like 1000 TCs against 2. The Titan is still kind of alive. He could be kind of annoying, of course. Not much. He's just half health. Should be kind of easy for actual heavy raids to get rid of him through through some ballistae if he actually goes for them. But he needs to right now start building some kind of walls, and much more than that, he needs to be starting with some military buildings because he doesn't have any here. And that means that the replacements and replenishments of the armies are quite far away and having to go from all the way here. So he needs a bit more optimization going on. Otherwise, it's not gonna be that well going for him. So what he could be right now doing, Blue? He has already worked, or rather started working on the wall-in. But apparently this Myrmidon was having some kind of different ideas about that. As the Titan is gonna be arriving on the left battlefield. On the left battlefield, trying to stop... Oh! Where did this come up? This is hill fort by Raudus here. He was like in some kind of cahoots with Swissboy, maybe? Possibly. Possibly for a bit there, but apparently not really for any longer. As it's looking very well for raids, and even I kind of think that even those portable rams could be quite a bit of issue for the Titan, because they are still a siege weapon, which means they are having crush damage, and that's a very nice type of damage against a Titan. But yeah, definitely curious what actually right now Heavy Raids wants to do against the Titan, or if he's just going to be ignoring him. He could. At this point, I'm gonna think he can just ignore the Titan. Just screw him. Because the Titan is minus 20 population limit for Mor champion. And when you're already having such a huge advantage of population limit, you can basically use any help that you can get in that department. And you can have basic army absolutely everywhere. You can see that even more is gonna be killing a few donkeys so that you can have some more population limit. And those rams trying to be killed by all the villagers, well, they should be taking out TC, so he's basically right now at 1 TC. If we consider even the minus 20 from the Titan, which of course is not good news for him, and apparently that's gonna be exactly what Heavy Raids should be doing. Coming forward with the attack from the right flank as well. He definitely needs to, as the wall isn't unfortunately finished for more. But the TC is gonna be kind of wide open. You can see not even population limit for Bellerophon and Odysseus. As the Titan gonna be trying to kill a few town centers and whatnot, but he's just too slow. He's just too slow for that, which is gonna be resulting into so much pop limit extra for the blue player. Just closing the deal. And yep, he's just gonna be waiting basically for the last resign of Mor. Well, that was a nice fireball into the face for the donkey. By the fire giant. That was nice there. But already the right flank attack is gonna be the next important thing. As of course, that's gonna be taking care of another population limit for his opponent. Yeah, Raudus, exactly. You want Swissboy. Easy. No problem at all. No problem at all. Okay, so we are just waiting as Heavy Raids has lost TC, of course, on the left through the Titan. He has rebuilt another one at the same time. That was probably the one in the middle. Yes. Yes, he's gonna be finishing with this one as well. Early soon. He has finished another TC of Mor, who is dropped to just 1. And of course, with the Titan, it means basically 0. So another stop, or the next stop is gonna be this TC right next to home. Right next to home, as even though some kind of army is still present for Mor, you can see that he's killing even the donkeys here and there, so that you can get even some extra little population limit that you can be somehow getting. And oh, even Krakens are making an appearance in here, basically in controlling the waters. So that's how much population limit actually Heavy Raids is having right now to throw away. 8 TCs already. 8 TCs completely owning everybody, going to be at 9. Well, apparently not. As Cerberus is not gonna be allowing that all that much. Not gonna be allowing that at all. And of course there is some kind of development, plenty of economy still going on. Yeah, screw the efficiency at this point. Who cares? Who cares overall? In the meantime, it seems like that basically one of the last stands is gonna be happening on the right, where Heavy Raids is sending in plenty of throwing axemen. Of course against the Myrmidons, which could be working. But if it wasn't for that kind of difference in the population limit, because of course at the same time we're also looking at all the portable rams killing absolutely everything, even getting the plenty vault on their side, and they're gonna be inching ever forward and ever closer to the 45 DC in the middle, the starting one for Mor. Come on, Mor. Come on, just resign and go. This is weird. Yeah, he won. Just resign and... like for real? Yeah, what are you exactly going to do when you are having 0 resources in population limit? Now, this is over for the last about 5 minutes. Ever since Heavyweight started attacking Swissboy, the game was over since then, basically. This just could have been so avoided. So avoided. This kind of unlucky end. But still, we are going to be having the recorded game of this, because if this is the end of it, which it seems that it is, there's no point to continue and restore or anything at all. I cannot type to you. I'm an observer, unfortunately. Well, of course you won. There's like no question. In anybody's mind, I'm hopeful. Even in chat. And you wonder why people are making fun of you more. Like... Seriously. Seriously, Mor. I'm just gonna be trying to go out of the game, because this is stuck, unfortunately. This is such a disgraceful end to a very nice game. Such a shame. That's so safe or whatever. I'm just gonna do anything. More, if you're really meaning this serious and not trolling, you're just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So what's like now gonna happen? Is this like dropped or what? Yeah, still both in-game. So it seems that possible remake. Yeah, that. I'm just right now asking if I should as well. Okay, so I'm gonna be altered for it as well, which means that I'm gonna be in the meantime, of course, looking at the post game, because that's gonna be the last one that we are actually seeing of this. And no, you didn't win anything. And of course, that's gonna be meaning heavyweights having the highest score. And well, yeah, pretty good economy. Well played by heavyweights, and especially well played as far as diplomacy goes. Switching on to Mor from the battle against Swissboy. That was definitely well played. Or rather, turning Swissboy into Mor, or rather against Mor. It was cleverly played and exactly what needed to happen. Exactly what needed to happen. But yeah, that was a very nice game, if it wasn't for the ending. And then it's kinda sad, but it was over anyway. So, I guess, GG.